I wanted a place for people to receive authentic guidance and practical ways to awaken. Thought-provoking, paradigm-shifting, and empowering. This is about expanding our human consciousness to create a wave of new possibilities. I'm Dr. Theresa Bullard-White, and this is Quantum Minds TV. So I wanted to shift the subject because in addition to reaching people who are in positions of influence and leadership, another big thing that we need to reach is the youth. And this is something that you've really been focusing on, is how can we reach the youth with these principles of, higher wisdom and waking up to a higher level of consciousness. So will you share with us some of what you're doing with to reach the youth with these principles?
Definitely. The most grand way that we've used to reach the youth has been through music. So I love music. I produce music, and I've been playing instruments since I was a child. And I realized that music, specifically hip hop music, has the capability of transmitting the most volume of information than any other genre of music, because you have bars, and verses. And you can transmit multiple bars on an album, which means on a single, which means you can transmit a lot of information. And so I started listening to the music and trying to figure out how can I utilize this frequency to reach the kids, since it's the number one used frequency on planet Earth is hip hop music. And so I realized that the first thing you like is the beat. As long as you like the beat, you'll listen to the song. It doesn't even matter what the words are in most cases. People will listen to songs with the most ridiculous, craziest lyrics, or even some intelligible lyrics just because the beat's good, okay? And this beat is good. And then if they like the hook and the beat, they'll learn the hook. And then eventually they'll learn the words. And then they start repeating those words, and they don't really realize that they're casting spells with those words on their own lives and others. And so I said, what if we could take the same beats they love, the same trap beats that they love, and we can make hooks that they like, and then we can incorporate knowledge and esoteric wisdom and ancient teachings into the actual lyrics. Eventually, two things are going to happen. They're going to learn the words, which means they're going to start speaking light. And the second thing is they're going to become researchers, because they're going to look up, what the heck am I saying? Let me Google what this means. Emerald tablets. Oh, boom. Let me Google what this means. Chakras. Oh, wow. Kundalini. The next thing you know, we've created a spiritual researcher. And so that was my ultimate goal. So I sat down and I created the record label. I reached out to some conscious artists, or artists that were kind of borderline. They were trying to figure it out. I became their mentor, and they learned a lot, and they learned it fast. And they were then able to start incorporating these spiritual concepts into the music without. The main goal was to not sound like we were preaching to anybody, not sound like we were telling you, a religious format or what to do and what not to do, but to make it so cool to hear this stuff, and to make it so cool to even repeat it by learning the words, that eventually you wouldn't realize you're casting positive spells on yourself and other people. And it worked so great. And we reached a lot of kids. We went public. We went to Billboard in 2018 in 4 categories for 8 weeks. 4 categories on Billboard: R&B and rap, hip hop album, and hip hop independent artist. And that was for 8 weeks straight. So I would say it was, so far it's been a very, very big success. And it's a way to reach the kids through music is one of the biggest ways. And so I continue to focus on that. And to date, I've produced over 340 songs that are all streaming worldwide. And I'm my own personal artist as well. I probably have over 100 songs streaming on Apple Music and Spotify and everything else as well. So we just continue to reach out to them through music. And the other last thing that I do is, I'll wear nice clothes, because the kids can relate to that. You have to understand how to get into the consciousness. You have to use everything has to become a tool. A nice car, nice house, nice watches, nice clothes. It's relatable. They want to aspire to those things. If I'm walking around looking like I'm wearing a curtain or something like that with holes in it, they're not going to want to listen to me too much. I'm not going to lie. And they're the future. So you have to cast that reel out like you're fishing, and with the hook on it. The hook is the lifestyle. And then all of a sudden, I'm reeling them back in. And now I've got a new person that's ready to hear, listen, and understand, and try to then also spread the same information back out into the world. And so far, it's been extremely successful.
Well, I love how intentional, but also how strategic you are in bringing that to the music field. You know, you really researched, you really studied like what creates that success and what, you know, and then the idea that, we all know, we've all experienced where we have a song that we really like. And not only are you memorizing the lyrics and you find yourself, all of a sudden you haven't listened to it in a while, but you're still singing it. And you might even be having it play in your head while you're sleeping. You know, it really gets in. So to bring in positive lyrics, affirmations, words of empowerment, and then to plant the seed for them to go and become spiritual researchers because they're singing these lyrics and it's like, well, what is that? And then they go and look it up. I think that's, you know, phenomenal. And then we've also talked about the frequency tuning, not just the beat, but the tuning scale. You know, we've talked about solfeggio frequencies and using, like, instead of a 440 tuning scale, either 444 or 432 hertz. Yep. And you know, finding these tuning scales that help to, you know, elevate at an emotional level, at a resonant level, and bring more of a higher consciousness type of state. Do you want to say anything about how you've incorporated that into your music as well?
Yeah, definitely. All of my songs are 432 hertz, even if it doesn't have it in the title, because sometimes the title can't be too long, or you want it to be a real catchy title. But every single song we produce, except for the exception of maybe 5, they're at 528 hertz, which is the love frequency. And so you can't do them all at 528 hertz because if you do them all at 528, some songs, when you do 528, they get a little muddy. What we call in music, we call it muddy. Little blurry in certain areas. Like it's not as crisp. Some of the notes aren't as crisp. So when you can run it through 528 and you can get all the notes to sound right, because depending on your A's and everything else, your notes, it sounds good, you can do it. But 432 is pretty broad. You can do every single song pretty much at 432, which is incredible. So the majority of our songs are 432 hertz, which is a resonant frequency that really harmonizes with the mind, the brain. And some scientific studies have been done that if you listen to music at 432 hertz, 15 to 20 minutes, and while you're studying for an exam or test, you have about a 10% increase in doing better on the test. It's like it's almost reorganizing even your thought patterns. It's good for your cellular energy, your mitochondria in your body. And also it's putting you in resonant frequency with planet Earth. We know that the Great Pyramid at Giza in Egypt is a 43,200 scale of the Earth itself. And it also has a resonant frequency inside of 432 hertz. So it's pretty interesting. That was incorporated into the actual architecture of the Great Pyramid, meaning it's really, really important. You know, so this is pretty cool stuff. And we've incorporated that into the music because it's so powerful. And then we have songs even in meditation tracks. So we have now a whole meditation series with the Om, and which is a primordial sound of the universe. And we have, all different types of meditation music that gives you the right solfeggio frequencies to uplift you and take you into higher states of consciousness as well.
Awesome. Now we're going to take a listen to a sample of one of your tracks and just give people a little bit of an experience. And, you know, I think we all need a little bit of a consciousness break for a moment here. So let's play that now.
I am the architect of my life. I build its foundation and choose its contents. Today I am brimming with energy and overflowing with joy. My body is healthy, my mind is brilliant, my soul is tranquil. I am superior to negative thoughts and low actions. I have been given endless talents, which I begin to utilize each day. I forgive those who have harmed me in my past and peacefully detach from them. A river of compassion washes away my anger and replaces it with love. guided in my every step by Spirit, who leads me towards what I must know and do. My relationship is becoming stronger and more stable each day. I possess qualities needed to be extremely successful. My business is growing, expanding, and thriving. Creative energy surges through me and leads me to new and brilliant ideas. Happiness is a choice, and I base my happiness on my own accomplishments and the blessings I have been given. My ability to conquer my challenges is limitless. My potential to succeed is infinite. Each day I am closer to finding the income source that is right for me. I am courageous and I stand up for myself. My thoughts are filled with positivity and my life is plentiful with prosperity.
So that was fantastic. And I absolutely love how you're bringing in the conscious lyrics, you're bringing in planting those seeds for the spiritual, research and so forth. You're bringing in the 432 tuning, and it's all of it is coming in at a subconscious level, at a conscious level, to bring that awakening and so forth. And also we know the power of sound through cymatics to impact not just the brain and so forth and consciousness, but also impact every cell of our body. And with these proper tuning scales and words of power and empowerment, you're using cymatics in a really positive and conscious way. So do you want to share a little bit more about your thoughts on cymatics and how that plays in here? Because it can be used for better or for worse, correct?
Oh, cymatic frequency are totally, they run the entire universe. As a matter of fact, when you're listening to somebody speak, the way that we think we hear somebody is not actually the way we hear somebody. What's happening is a cymatic frequency is coming out of their vocal cords and is riding over the gases, the atmospheric gases, until it hits the cochlea in your ear and it's translated by the brain into actual verbiage. And what's interesting is it doesn't really matter what language you speak. It's all based on the conscious intent that is then piggybacked on top of that frequency. And they actually sync together and it rides the wave into your mind, and then your mind translates it, but it also absorbs the conscious intent, whether you know it or realize it or not. And that's why cymatic frequencies are so important in music and speaking and TV and everything else that you're listening to, and even speaking to somebody speaking to you, because all that's absorbed by the body, it's all transcoded by the brain, and your cells absorb all of it and they remember everything. Your DNA remembers everything. And so cymatics are really, really key, because depending on the intent behind the cymatic frequency, it can actually have a bad effect. It can create dis-ease in the body or disease. It can also create positivity, upliftment, enlightenment, happiness, joy, and love. So the cymatics are really important. And cymatics, we know, as above, so below, on a galactic scale or a universal scale, we can see the effect of the cymatic frequencies that actually jingle life into, the illusion of matter into existence here before our eyes. For example, like the spots on the back of a leopard. That's a pattern based on the frequency rippling through space-time that have created those spots. Or the pattern on the back of a turtle, that pattern is evidence of cymatic frequencies. And so we know this now by doing our own experiments with plates and speakers and putting different types of material on the plate and creating vibrations in the plate. We can see different shapes and forms, different geometrical structures create. We know that that is like it says in the Bible, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. But that what it's really saying is in the beginning was a frequency, and that frequency became the creator. That is what God is. So in my opinion, God, the face of God, is not the face of a man or anybody flying through around with a robe on. But to me, the face of God is actually the flower of life. And I believe that that frequency that emanates through the vesica piscis that's encoded into the flower of life is the frequency that has gone out and cymatically helped to create our whole reality here on this, not only this planet, but the entire universe.
Wow. So you've just really talked there about what is ultimately the essence of magic
Yeah.
is, that we're combining the intent, which is then expressed through the voice, through words of power, and at particular frequencies that then that sound, as it carries that intent and the meaning of the word, it then can literally sound can shape the physical world. Sound shapes matter. And that is what the original study of cymatics was, is that how sound can mold and shape and create these sacred geometric patterns and what look like mandalas within the materia, whether it's water or clay or sand, and it literally forms it. And so this is from the intent to the spoken word to the material manifestation, and how we direct it with our will and our actions and so forth. I mean, that is really the essence of magic. And hopefully, as you're saying, that people often think that the words are, just carrying their meaning, but they're not thinking about the intent behind the words. And yet, when you're talking to somebody, you can feel when there's an incongruence between their words and some other energy that's being sent from them. And that energy is the thoughts or the ego or whatever, whether it's positive or negative, you feel that. And we intuitively pick up on when there's an incongruence between somebody's, what's really going on behind the scenes with them and what they're saying. One final thing that I want to talk about, and that is, all ultimately, again, towards what do we need to shift if there is something really key. And I think you kind of said it in a way. We started with it with the topic of abundance. And then you also mentioned when it comes to the youth and, dressing nice, for example, and having nice things. And, that might appeal to them as a lifestyle, but there's something deeper underneath that. There is a lifting out of mediocrity into, like a sense, we could call it royalty, into a sense of like, I'm really embodying my mastery in this world. And that gives an example for them to aspire to. And one of the biggest issues that we've really had in this, in our modern age, is we're almost devolving into more and more mediocrity setting in within the matrix mindset. And that mediocrity, I think, also plays in with the victimhood mindset. Like these two things seem to be going hand in hand. There's more people who are, trying to create causes around supporting the victim, or, being the victim, and then they get more attention for it, and then they get maybe more money for it. And, and then, the more we're a victim, well, the more we have to fall into that, kind of mediocrity state because we're a victim versus being an empowered and abundant person. So this victimhood mindset, what would you say is the biggest way to help people shift out of that victimhood mindset? Because in order to create that new world, we're going to have to really step into our power.
We have to teach people how to step into their power. That's the biggest thing. We have to teach people that they are all powerful, that they are their savior that they've been waiting for, and that accepting the current condition and situation and just being in collusion with it means that they're becoming the victim, and they're also they become the prisoner and the prison guard. And which is weird because they don't realize that they've accepted this level. And then if somebody even that they know, or even themselves, tries to break past that level, they self-sabotage, or they sabotage someone else subconsciously. And making somebody aware of that. See, the biggest problem that we have is bringing awareness to these kind of situations. And there's got to be a specialized technique to bring in awareness to these situations. Otherwise, you can offend somebody, and people get very offensive these days. So it's got to be done in a very, very nice way, a loving way, in a way where you're giving an example and showing and teaching versus talking down on. And if you can do that and enlighten the person to bring awareness to their current condition, and then say, but I have a solution for you. the first thing you got to do is, I found that all the people that are really becoming this victim mindset, they don't know what their passion is. They don't even understand that they have a passion or that they have a gift. We all have gifts. Just all of us don't open them. Some people just don't never open the gift. And so you have to show them, hey, you've got talents and gifts. You've got things that you're probably passionate about. If you focus on those things, you can rise above all of this. And so I tell people, let's get a piece of paper out. Let's start writing down all the things you're passionate about, all the things you like, all the things you would even like to do potentially if you don't know how to do it yet, because anything can be learned. And then let's analyze them in order, which are the most important or which are the highest on the list. And then from there, which do you need to learn or which are you already good at? You may already be good at something. Now, okay, let's analyze how that thing that you're good at, that gift, can be utilized in the world. Let's figure out who can use it. And when we find out who can use the gift or what companies, what people can use that gift to enhance what they're doing, let's now research what it takes to actually put yourself in a position where you're in between those two. In other words, they're going to take your gift and utilize it for their purpose. And the side effect is going to be money in your bank account. It's going to be joy in your heart. You're going to feel like you're not even working because you love this stuff. And when we get to that level, when I can help you get to that level, now you're going to realize what I was talking about, walking in your true power, walking in passion. The side effect is money in your account and a life of your dreams, an abundant life where it doesn't mean you're a trillionaire, but any level that you can achieve and you're working in a passion where you feel like you're not even working, that is abundance in itself.
I love that. So not only is it about taking personal responsibility, right? I mean, because the victim mindset often wants to put the blame outside of oneself. And then when they put the blame outside, they put the power outside, and then they're giving their power away. It's about saying, okay, I have some level of responsibility here for what I'm going to do with this situation, what I'm going to create in my life. And if I want to change my situation, then I have to change myself.
Right.
And one of the key ways to start shifting that, changing oneself, is, again, shifting away from focusing on the problem to the solution. And you're providing a really beautiful solution here, which is, what are you passionate about? What do you love to do? What would you, if you could live your dream life, what would you be doing? How would you be, spending your time? But in a way that's not so much about the superficiality of that, the materiality of that, but literally the expression of your gifts. The, bringing forward what is something that is your own soul wanting to express its uniqueness and the things that it loves and the things that bring us joy. And so I think that's brilliant, way to just start really shifting out of the focusing on the negative into the positive and redirecting. Right? When we take responsibility for ourselves, we are taking responsibility to redirect how we're using our energy, what we're putting our focus on, where we choose to, give our attention. And your attention is, these days, it's a major commodity in the world.
It is.
Big data is all about trying to get your attention, and advertisers and marketers and so forth. But if you start valuing your own, where you put your attention in your own life, and bring that recognition to the value of that, because where attention goes, energy flows.
That's
and
right.
That's where we want to then redirect it so that we can put it on things that are going to create better value for us, the things that we love and enjoy. Anything else that you want to share with people before we wrap up here?
I just want to tell people, look, you have to understand you have to just love everyone. It doesn't mean that you love everyone in a way where, you're giving 1,000% of yourself and letting them suck the energy out of you. But you have to come to some conclusion that all of us are just really one person. There's only one consciousness, and everyone that's out there is just another reflection of you. And so, you want to love yourself, well, you got to love other people. If you're truly loving yourself, you're going to love everyone. And if you understand that, and you can pass on that love and understanding, people will always remember how you treat them, how you make them feel. That's the biggest thing I learned when I was in learning sales. People will remember how you make them feel. And the only reason why you don't close a deal in a sale is because either they don't have the money or they don't like you. It's only two reasons. And so if you can start to make people understand that you sincerely, really, truly feel and love them, whether you can deal with them or not on a long-term basis, but people know that, this guy, no matter what, or this woman, no matter what, I understand, like, that's a really good person. That goes a very, very long way, because at some point that seed goes into their mind and it grows, and they begin to then, they will duplicate what they saw, because the body, I think, the mind and conscious always wants to go back towards the light. I think that the light will always outdo darkness, and no matter what, over time. And that positive light seed you plant on how you treat somebody, and then becomes a consciousness positive virus that then spreads, and it spreads from one person to the next, to the next, to the next. And just keeping that in mind, that every person you deal with, you're talking to yourself. How would you talk to yourself? How would you treat yourself? If you just thought about it that way, this person is actually me. I'm talking to myself. Wow. Well, let me treat that person how I would treat myself. And then the whole paradigm shifts instantaneously.
I love that. Another golden nugget right there. Yeah, that's beautiful. So, and I really see, Billy, that you really embody what you're just saying there. I mean, you are a very genuine person. In my interactions with you, I've been like, yeah, I really like this guy. I could see this guy as a friend, and really, just like enjoy, spending time with you. And so I just want to thank you for being my guest, and you have a lot of wisdom, a lot of insight to share with everybody. And I love how practical and applied and down to earth and yet forward thinking you are in what you bring to the plate. So it has truly been an honor to have you as my guest. And so that now brings us to the end of this conscious conversation. And so thank you, Billy, for joining us. And I look forward to hopefully having you back again on Quantum Minds TV.
Yes, that would be great. Anytime, please.
We hope you took some golden nuggets out of this session and conversation. And most importantly, that you'll take this knowledge that's been gained here and put it into application in your life so that you can truly receive the full benefits from it. Now, as always, thank you for tuning in to Quantum Minds TV. And if you enjoyed it, please rate, review, and subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and/or Spotify. And if you'd like to be the first to receive full access to each conscious conversation as it becomes available, you can register at quantummindstv.com with your name and email. It's completely free to register, and it'll provide you with a secret link where you can then access and watch the entire conversation with each guest at your leisure. Until next time, I'm Dr. Theresa Bullard, and this is Quantum Minds TV.
This conscious conversation was created, produced, and recorded by Dr. Theresa Bullard in collaboration with Billy Carson and edited by Verse Content. The theme music was created by Tim Mountain of Even Load Productions. Quantum Minds TV is a product of the Quantum Learning Academy.